Most women are hyper-aware of their surroundings, constantly feeling and carrying the weight of how people around us feel. Sometimes not even knowing, is it their emotions or mine? Have you ever walked into a room and instantly scanned the energy, analyzing everyone and every detail before you can relax? Or not even being able to relax because you feel everyone around you? But oh, I'm just an empath, I just feel a lot. Well, yeah, and feeling responsible for other people's emotions is a sign that your body is still stuck in survival mode. But today, we're gonna break that cycle.
But first, hi, my name is Yula and I am a shadow worker, I'm a womb worker, I'm a vocalist, and in the last 4 years I have supported many women on their journey of healing their wounds and becoming their most empowered selves. So let's get straight in. If you are feeling responsible for other people's emotions, it is a trauma response. So this is basically tied to the fawn response, where we try to keep ourselves safe by appeasing to others, by being likable, by not speaking up, and by being agreeable. Because you learn as a child that behavior will keep you safe. Because as a child, you were trained that your survival depends on managing the comfort and emotions of other people. So it is time to drop that false sense of responsibility and to come back to yourself. And what also might have happened to you in childhood that is causing this response and this responsibility is that you maybe were the parentified daughter. So she is the girl that was forced to become a caretaker for either her parents or siblings. So she basically had to take on responsibility very early on in life, where she wasn't ready for that at all yet. And instead of being nurtured by her parents, by her surroundings, she was the nurturer. And so she probably had to manage her parents' mood, solving her parents' problems, and or keeping the family together. So maybe being the peacemaker in the family. And so as an adult, that shows up as people-pleasing, as overgiving to others, as always trying to make sure that everybody else is okay and is comfortable before oneself. So taking on way too much responsibility and still feeling like it's never enough, because she was taught that love is earned through service and is not freely given. So love is transactional and not unconditional as it should be. And so the subconscious belief behind that is, if I keep everyone else happy, I will be safe and I will be loved. By the way, if all of this is resonating with you so far, I have a free masterclass for you. Comment free masterclass down below, where we will go into nervous system work to heal the unworthiness wound that is beneath it all. And we will go in there and we will start releasing emotions from our body, so you can live a much healthier, much better, much more fulfilled life. So comment free masterclass down below. So here are some signs that you're still stuck in this pattern. You're apologizing constantly even if you've done nothing wrong. You're avoiding conflict and uncomfortable situations, sweeping stuff under the rug, which is actually a big theme in many families. Like in many families, it is very common that truths or uncomfortable conversations that would need to be had are just swept under the rug, and it's just it's not there. Maybe you're also feeling guilty or really uneasy if other people around you are upset, even though it's not your fault. So it is hard for you to set those barriers where it's like, this is your emotion, this is my emotion, because you're taking up emotions like a sponge because you had to in childhood. And also you might still be taking the role of the peacemaker, so you're always trying to make sure that everybody feels good, maybe trying to find solutions to conflicts that are not even yours, because you want everyone to be in harmony so you can relax and feel good. Maybe you also feel drained after social interactions because you feel like you are managing others' moods, and this can also be very subconscious. Like, this happens without you even noticing. But what you do notice is that after social interactions you feel emotionally depleted, because it takes a lot of energy to be hyper attuned to other people's emotions. Maybe you also downplay your needs and feel like other people's needs are more important than your own or more urgent. And of course, over analyzing the energies around you and feeling right away if something feels off. And it's something also I struggled with so much. I was so hyper attuned to my surroundings because I grew up in an emotionally unstable, unsafe environment. And so I become so hyper attuned to other people's emotions, and especially in relationships. Like if the mood would shift even just a tiny bit, I would notice right away and be like, are you okay? Is everything all right? And then also the fear of abandonment kicking in, and these thoughts of like, oh no, maybe he's angry, maybe he's gonna leave me, and like it spirals down real quick. And so all of this is at the cost of ourselves. So we are neglecting ourselves, we are exhausted, and over time there can be a lot of resentment building towards other people. And so how to shift this? First of all, awareness, like being aware, what are the patterns that I'm still playing out? Like, how am I acting in social interactions? How do I feel after social interactions? And also while you are in social interactions, to really like sometimes take a moment and reflect, like, am I right now absorbing emotions of other people? Are my boundaries in place? And taking a break if you need a break. And even if it's just going to the bathroom for 5 minutes or going to the balcony or whatever, just having a moment outside of the social interaction where you can like take a few deep breaths, recalibrate, and then go back into it. And of course, practicing setting strong boundaries without feeling guilty afterwards. I have a whole video on that you can watch. I will link it down below. You can watch it on how to set strong boundaries without feeling guilty afterwards, because that's a big one for women. And then of course, working with your nervous system, working with the root behind that, because you can do as many mindset shifts as you like. If that trauma response is still running the show, then you have to actually go into the wound that caused that trauma response in order to really heal it. And then it will also be easier to go into social settings with stronger boundaries and to not absorb other people's energy anymore, and to also be okay if other people are maybe a bit moody, and to not take it on yourself or not feeling the need to fix them. And so if this is of interest to you, I have a free masterclass. You can comment free masterclass down below and I will send you the link, where we will go into the nervous system, into a guided practice where we will release emotions from our nervous system, from our body, process emotions so we can rewire our nervous system from unworthy to worthy, because the unworthiness wound is underneath it all, and it is also underneath this trauma response. So this is basically the root, where to start, where to go into the body and start healing from the root. All right, love, this was it. And if you are curious about the 4 different trauma responses and how the unworthiness wound shows itself through these trauma responses, then watch this video to dive even deeper into your body, into trauma work.